English. I rarely address the audience in English because I usually talk in Kannada. But today all the dignitaries on stage, they have given their excellent talks on their specialized subjects in English. Partly I will talk it in English, then switch over to Kannada. Actually, I am doubly blessed today. I am highly honored being presented by the award in the name of the great Acharya, Dr. K.S. Narayanacharya, who is revered, worshipped by all of us for his contribution to our dharma, our literature, our social life. I was fortunate enough to have association with Dr. K.S. Narayanacharya ji for a couple of years during different times. I was an executive editor for the Potana Bhagavata. Potana Bhagavata 8-volume set it was. I was the executive editor, and Professor R.V. S. Sundaram of Mysore University was the chief editor. We had an excellent program of release of that Potana Bhagavata series. Potana Bhagavata, you might be knowing, Potana was a great Telugu poet who has written Bhagavata. Around 9,000 shlokas or verses are there. This was brought out in 8 volumes, for which I was the executive editor. In that connection, I used to meet Narayanacharya many times. And also I was lucky enough to have his house very near to my working place. I work in M.S. Ramaya University. His house is just a kilometer away. He was very fond of people writers who used to write on subjects on literature, that is literature, nationalism, dharma, Ramayana, Mahabharata. And he was always appreciative of younger people, younger writers. Once I called him when I was the editor of Karmavira. It is a century-old weekly. I worked there for 7 years. To invite some articles from him, I called him one day. He said, "What a great moment. I am having your Udarabhishek on my table. You have called me. What a coincidence." He excited himself. So, that's how my association with Dr. K.S. Narayanacharya started. And during the preparation of Bhagavata, Potana Bhagavata, I used to consult him often. Friends, we have seen a very, very great person during our lifetime. He was a rishi, a bold lion-like person. In expressing his thoughts, he was not afraid of anything or anybody or any government or anybody. He was so bold. He expressed his thoughts so openly. He was highly nationalistic in his approach. Highly. That's what when in a speech I had told once, if there is a person who can be a Rajguru to present Prime Minister, it is K.S. Narayanacharya. His depth of our culture, our dharma and Sanatana dharma was so much. So much. Whenever we used to sit and talk to him, we were inspired by like anything, and our our commitment, our regards for our ancient culture used to grow 10 times, 100 times. He was going deeper and deeper into our ancient literature, whether it is Vedas or Upanishads or Puranas. That's how he could produce so many books. More than 200 books has been published by our Sahitya Prakashana. Our Sahitya Prakashana, Subramanya sir, the great father of our Ritvik Subramanya, he was so, Narayanacharya was so fond of Subramanya, every day, every morning used to start with a discussion, conversation with Subramanya. They have published 200 books, not ordinary books. Everything, every one book is a gem of literature. And so deep he used to go into the subject. I remember once, I had I was fortunate enough to release one book that's on Nahusha. That day, Narayanacharya said, Nahusha, Devudu Narasimha Shastri, a great novelist who has written trilogy, Mahakshatriya, Mahabrahmana and Mahadarshana, 3 books on Vishwamitra, Nahusha and Yajnavalkya. Wonderful books, great novels. He has brought Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in Mahadarshana, Vishwamitra's Gayatri Mantra, story of Gayatri Mantra in Mahabrahmana, and the achievements of Nahusha. But here, Nahusha has been a bit glorified like a hero in his Mahakshatriya. That is, Devudu Narasimha Shastri has written like that. But when Narayanacharya started writing on Nahusha Chakravarti, it was not difficult for him. Everything was in his fingertips. Everything was in his treasure, mental treasure. Nahusha, he boldly said, in the speech also he said, Devudu Narasimha Shastri's Nahusha is not right. He has not presented the character of Nahusha in the right manner. Nahusha is a villainous character, bad character, who usurped the throne of Indra and married Rati, if I remember correctly. So, Narayanacharya was bold enough. And he had to face so many difficult periods, challenging times and dangerous times. He lived dangerously at many times. Actually, I was present while releasing a book on Gandhi's murder. He had taken some clue from some Bombay writer or a scholar who said Gandhi was not killed by Godse, Nathuram Godse. And he had a theory that someone else came and shot him dead. So, Narayanacharya wrote a book on that subject, a small book published by our Sahitya Prakashana. So I was present in that function. The great our novelist S.L. Bhairappaji was there. It created a controversy. Many people threatened him, but he was unmoved. He stood like a rock. And more than that, there was danger in his life, threatened by some people, while he said Valmiki was a Brahmin. So some people, they threatened him. Threatening calls went to him. News was published in papers. And I received some calls from well-wishers of Narayanacharya. You see, his life is in danger. We should do something. And that gentleman who spoke to me, we are meeting in Dr. Rama Joyce's house. Rama Joyce was the governor of Jharkhand, some Bihar, Jharkhand, and also Chief Justice of Haryana and Punjab high courts and all that. MP also, Rajya Sabha. Some people met in the house of Rama Joyce and they were scratching their head to how safeguard Narayanacharya. That was the situation once. He was rock-like. He was unmoved. He was Sthita Prajna. I met him during those days. He said, what happens? Nothing will happen. Whatever I have done in the service of Rama, Sri Rama, Krishna, Sanatana Dharma. That is the confidence. Therefore, friends, we had a rishi in front of us who had the knowledge of Sanatana Dharma. He was living Sanatana Dharma. Any problem, he used to write columns in the magazines and dailies. So he used to discuss the political situation in those days, quoting from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita and Puranas and Vedas, quotations after quotations, lines after lines, shlokas after shloka, and was comparing present-day politics and concluding with some message to the society. This is Narayanacharya. And 200 books. His first, who he published in his own publication, Malola Prakashana. Well, as you all will be knowing that he was an English professor, highly traditional, always with his tripundra and the other shawl or something covering his upper portion of the body. So that was Narayanacharya. Our great Jnanapita awardee, Dara Bendre, he told once him to write down the things while he was giving talks in Harvard. Bendreji attended one or two programs of Acharya and asked him to write books. So that's how 10 volumes on Vedas was published. I think the Sahitya Prakashana has brought out in 3 volumes now. So this is Narayanacharya. We have seen, I was fortunate enough to be close to him. I had an opportunity to write a novel. I am basically a storyteller. I am not a scholar like our Vokji or so many are there. So many, our Devadarji, they have all studied deep in their own subjects. Going back to Mahabharata days and fixing their dates, Ramayana dates, is not a small thing today, though we have so many facilities. Now I am writing a novel, Adi Shankara. His date starts from 500 BC to 800 AD, Common Era. That means our scholars, of course, there are no material data available. We can't blame anyone. But I like that the range of one person, one historical person who lived about 1,200 years back, we could not fix date. That is not our fault or anybody's fault. There are not, data is not available, that's all. Okay. So such thing Nilesh Vokji is doing. That's a great service to our culture and history and dharma. So, in the name of Narayanacharya ji, 3 institutions, that is Udbhava, Sahitya Prakashana and Subbo Publications, have awarded me this award. I am very grateful to these people. I don't know how my name appeared to them. Once, a couple of days back, Sri Ritvik Subramania called me and told, Udbhava people have selected you for the award given in the name of Dr. K.S. Narayanacharya for this year. I was surprised and shocked. I asked him, who were other people given this award earlier. They said Sandeep Balakrishna was given. He is doing a lot of good work in the field of culture, history, and dharma. So it's okay. Why you have selected me? Just I asked him. So you have contributed some books which were appreciated by Narayanacharya ji. He had the knowledge of all books written by me. While writing the biographical novel on Ramanujacharya, sometimes I used to consult him also, and I took help of his books in constructing the life of Ramanuja. So in this novel. And he was so happy. I requested Sri Subramanya to ask Narayanacharya ji to write a foreword for my book. I was really afraid to meet him. I am not a Sri Vaishnava, Vishishtadvaiti, but I have written on the life of great Acharya, Sri Vaishnava Acharya, Vishishtadvaita Acharya. So I was a bit afraid. There might have been some mistakes in my book. I felt so. And Subramanya sir requested Narayanacharya, oh, Babu has written this book. I will be very happy to go through. He said, and he read it, wrote a beautiful foreword. In his foreword, he has said, even I could not have written such a book on Ramanujacharya. That's what greatest tributes he has paid to the writer of Vishishta. And one more golden certificate he has given to me in that book, in that foreword is, he says, if a writer writes about his own Acharya, that means in whichever sect he belongs to, Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Shakti Vishishtadvaita, whatever it might be, if he is writing on his own guru in the tradition, he will be exaggerating or glorifying that person, that guru. And if the same person writes about the other Matacharya, there he may criticize, he will have some prejudice while writing the other Matacharya, other than his Matacharya. But in this book, Babuji has said, has written in such a way, in such a balanced way, the reason I tell that his nationalistic outlook, Rashtriya Manobhava, he writes it. That is the reason for such a balanced writing Babu could achieve in this book. That's what. This, I take it as a golden certificate, my writing about our great rishis, acharyas, and great people. Sir, if I tell more, if I talk more, I don't know. I might be boring you people, but Sri Ritvik Subramanya has told the other day to tell something about my writing. Few words I tell, and I started writing small stories in 1962-63. Then from then onwards, I had a serious thinking. What should be the line of my writing? What should be the subject I write in my lifetime? I should choose something. Consistently I should write. Then a thing flashed to me. In my house, my mother was a very good reader. In 1940s and 50s, novels were read by many housewives. They used to, it was their pastime. Then Galaganatha and B.B. Venkatacharya, these two people, they translated Bengali books to Kannada, like Anandamat, Durgesh Nandini, like that, so many, all of them. And here Galaganatha translated from Harinarayana Apte's. He adopted actually, not exactly translation, he took the story like Chhatrapati, Kamal Kumari, Ishwari Sutra, like that, so many. My mother was a very good reader of all these novels. Also, she was very well, she was acquainted with Tamil and Telugu. Those books also she was reading. And as a young boy of 7, 8 years, she used to tell me the stories she has read. She had read. So I was influenced. My brother was also a very good reader, but his choice of subject was different. He was a participant in 1942 Quit India movement. He was a Savarkarite. Also, he had some interest towards Kshatriya literature. So of course, this pulp literature like Headley Chase or James Bond or Agatha Christie or Perry Mason, all these things. I was influenced by my brother to read these books, but of all the books, I was highly influenced by the patriotic articles he had selected and pasted in an old ledger, cuttings. I used to read, and it had such an influence when I was a boy of 8 or 9 or 10 years. I felt there are these boys, Bhagat Singh or Chandrasekhar Azad or Madan Lal Dhingra or Khudiram Bose, youngsters, they gave their life, entire life, their future. They forsake their families, mothers, sisters, brothers. What made them to sacrifice entire life? They knew they have entered into a very difficult phase of their life. Only they never had an idea when they are going to get the independence. They never had an ambition that once they get the independence, they would become rulers sitting in Delhi or some Lucknow or Bangalore. Such a sacrifice, how could they get that inspiration? That was my question, even as a boy. Then when I became a degree student, I was studying. By that time, I had read these books also, Bonds, Perry Mason's, Headley Chase, etc. And also our Anandamath and such books also. Then the idea came that I should go as far as possible deep into these subjects and write books. That's how my first book on children, for children, that is Military Tata Kate Heltare, the award started with my first book. Continuously since 1970 I am getting, this is the latest one given by our Udbhava Sahitya Prakashanan's book publication. And next on 22nd I am going to get one more award in the name of Swatantraveer Savarkar. So I am not very much fascinated, but I am happy my work is being recognized by so many institutions. So I began to write like that. I went deep into the subject. I went to northern India for 10 days to collect material about Chandrasekhar Azad. So many people, his friends and acquaintances were living then. I met them, collected material, and for 10 days I toured that area. Lucknow, Jhansi, Kanpur, Allahabad, Varanasi, etc. Even smaller places like Orcha near Jhansi. You will be surprised. Many times I have said that. I spent 537 rupees for the entire tour, including my tea in that earthen cups in the railway stations and newspapers. Everything inclusive, 537 rupees. So much of important first-hand information was collected in the tour, which made this book on Chandrasekhar Azad, Ajaya, very lovely book. And it has seen more than 25 editions. Almost once in 1.5 to 2 years, it is being published. People have liked it so much. From that book itself, I had the fortune of gaining love and affection of all the readers. Today, Wherever I go, people recognize me as the author of Ajeya. Then it followed Vasudev Balwant Phadke. I went to Chiradon, I went to Pune Kesari office, I went to Bombay Archives, as well as Royal Asiatic Society. Like that, I collected and made one more. Both of them got the Sahitya Academy, Karnataka Rajya Sahitya Academy Award. Then Rudrabhisheka is another good book I have written, about 1,000 pages book. It covers freedom movement, Indian independence movement between 1885 and 1915, having Bhaga Jatin, which has become very famous because of a film released recently. So that book also. Like this, sir, since I can say 1970 to this day, about more than 50 years, my pen is being reserved for this cause. Later on, Vishishta, Mahasadhaka have penned. It is the story of Prabhupada, Abhay Chandra Prabhupada, that is the founder of ISKCON. His life story is also very inspiring. With no paisa, just 60 rupees in his pocket, in a ship he traveled to America. There he started ISKCON movement. Today, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama has become so popular in these countries, when we can see it in YouTube also. So Krishna's message, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata was taken to different countries like Canada, America, UK, etc. by this old man. When he started his journey, he was 70 years. By the time, 69 years to be exact. By the time all the people retire and sit in their homes, he started his journey to America. What was his inspiration? His inspiration was spreading Gita, Bhagavata, and Sanatana Dharma culture. There is his own way of doing it. He gave talks. He had to face so many odd situations in US and Canada. But with all that, he was successful in starting ISKCON. I have written it in a very positive way, and sometimes critical also. So this has also become a sort of a Veda for ISKCON followers. So Vishishta and all that. Now, finally coming to the point, I am trying to write a biographical novel on Shankara Acharya, Adi Shankaracharya. I pray the blessings of Pujya Narayanacharya today. He is blessing me today. He used to bless when he was alive. Even today he has come to bless me by this award. I have received this award. He has blessed me. I am again and again asking the great soul which is resting in Vaikuntha to bless me so that I can complete the story of Adi Shankara as early as possible and give it to the society. Friends, these Udbhava people and Sahitya Prakashana, they are very much associated with Narayanacharya. Udbhava, when I was speaking to youngsters who are software people, they told me their inspiration was Narayanacharya. Narayanacharya was not an individual, he was an institution builder. So these youngsters, just around 30s, 25, 30, 35, they have come together. In his name, they have started one school where not only just formal education, but a good moral education is also being given, and with a dedication which Acharya had for this Sanatana Dharma, the same dedication in the field of education these people are doing, and they have selected me. I am very grateful for them for having given me this award. I bow myself to all the people who are serving the cause of K.S. Narayanacharya. And as I told you, Sri Ritvik Subramanya and his father, Subramanya, they are not just publishers. They are not such commercial people. They have a vision. They have interest of the society. They want to feed the society with good thoughts. Therefore, they have published more than 200 books. You just imagine. That great Acharya also, he was just like a factory. While Subramanya was getting ready with one book, he used to call him, next book is ready, take the manuscript. Like that. He was so fast. I am astonished, sir. I am astonished. At the age of 80 to 83, he was producing so many books. I'm sitting, you should see, if you had seen his house, he's sitting surrounded by Vedas, Puranas, Mahabharatas, Bhagavatas, surrounding him. In that background, sitting Acharya is, it's our fortune to see such a great Rishi working. He was known as Narayanacharya only. He's not only writing, he used to go to wherever he was called, he went, and very inspiring dialogues, speeches on our scriptures he used to give. Like that, he became a household name in Karnataka. So we felt so many times he should have been given by the central government some Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan or something that for the contribution for our Sanatana Dharma. Many times we felt. One, our friend, Dr. S.R. Leela, she felt so much bad when such a great scholar was not honored for his Sanskrit knowledge, for his literary contribution. I should honor him like that. She started one Adikavi Valmiki Award. The first award was given to him about a couple of years back. So they gave me also Adikavi Valmiki Award later on. So in the name of Acharya, today I am being honored. So I take it as a blessing for Acharya. Really, though he is sitting there, he is looking at us, what we are doing, and how our activities are going on. Therefore, in that way, he has blessed me so that I can continue my work and give my contribution to the society. Friends, sorry if I have taken much of your time. Already it is late, I think lunch hour. I take leave of you. I thank all the great scholars on the stage, organizers, and others, and end my talk here now. Thank you all.